Consideration paid for by the following. The Ohio Neck and Back Pain Relief Center, Scott M. Gray, D.C., across from the Marion Center between TSC and Kroger. For further information, dial 740-386-6580. Also located on the net at goodbackbadback.com. Marion Blue Racers football. Feel the heat, feel the excitement, the best fan experience going in Marion today. Perkins Family Restaurant and Bakery, located at 1197 Mount Vernon Avenue, right here in Marion. Open Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Sunday, 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Hey, stop into Perkins and take a look at the newly remodeled dining room. Perfect for that family get-together or that intimate get-together with friends. And hey, while you're there, check out the delicious items in the bakery. Perfect for all those Thanksgiving needs, as well as any pie, cookie, or muffin add-on to any meal. Also, check out the Get Crackin' and Biscuit Bake menus. Perkins Family Restaurant and Bakery, a family tradition in Marion for well over 30 years. From our family to yours. Hey, stop on by. Ruby Spoon Frozen Yogurt and More, where you can customize your own indulgent dessert. Choose from 14 flavors, including cookies and cream, our seasonal pumpkin cheesecake, classic white vanilla, or our creamy and rich chocolate. Check out our newest offering, fresh baked toppings. Every day we are in the back making mini cookies, mini Buckeyes, and crispy waffle cones. Come in from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. and enjoy our yogurt at a discounted price of just 39 cents an ounce. Check out our Facebook page for our daily discounts for everyone, from seniors to moms. Try our fresh-made crepes and waffles, or make your own delicious and customized yogurt smoothie. Groovy Spoon Frozen Yogurt and More, right here in Marion on Mount Vernon Avenue. Hey, Scott Spears along with you on a Wednesday edition of The Exchange, and we've been having a great week this week, a lot of fun here at Groovy Spoon, which, by the way, will be at Groovy Spoon for at least one more week. Next Wednesday, the 16th of November, 5 to 8 p.m., we'll be at the Groovy Spoon. If you want to come out and say hello, hey, go ahead, feel free to do so. That crepe right there has been catching my eye all week. It is the most delicious looking thing. Presentation at the Groovy Spoon is certainly everything. Stop on by. Right next to Big Lots here in Marion on Mount Vernon Avenue. Wednesday, as it is each and every Wednesday for the last 2 weeks, heading into a third week, is the Blue Racer 30, where we bring one of the all-time great startup teams that I've ever seen. I'm not going to say just Marion, I'm going to say Ohio, and maybe beyond once we see them play this upcoming season. And we chat about all kinds of interesting things. This week, we're going to chat with team owner and the front office. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And I've got so much here to talk about, Chuck. You might have to take over the show. I got Jack Benny sitting next to me here. Obviously, for those of you who maybe have been in the cave since 1974, Jack Benny is dead, so this is not the real Jack Benny.
No.
Oh! Boy, that is as close to Jack Benny as I've ever seen. That is close. That is scary. Can't even work. But Jack Benny played by Lynn Roberts. Great actor Lynn Roberts, does all kinds of great impersonations. Bob Hope we saw yesterday. Going to see Red Skelton tomorrow for half the show, and then Bob Hope will return and send us off for the week with Thanks for the Memories, which he touched on a little yesterday. Maybe a little Buttons and Bows, too, tomorrow. All kinds of great stuff. And if I didn't say it, Chuck Carson will get the shot over there on Chuck, Lynn's announcer. Now, Marianne and Charlie are out, so we're going to get right into it this week. Head over to team owner of the Marion Blue Racers, LC, who's become a good friend of mine over the last few weeks. LC, good to see you.
Scott, great to be here.
Now, this week we're going into the front office of the Marion Blue Racers. Who do you have with you?
I have, to my right, Mark Huddleston, my offensive coordinator, and to his right, Brandon Eicher, strength and conditioning coordinator.
Now, what are these? Those are interesting titles, but what essentially do they do?
Well, first of all, I mentioned their title, but they're also good friends. We're going on our third year together from the Mayhem, the Blue Racers, and now I trust their expertise, their education, and their love for the game. Mark Huddleston is the brain trust of the offense. He is the reason why you're going to come and see the Blue Racers. A lot of points, we're expecting a lot of points to be put on the board, and he's going to be the one that's going to basically choreograph the offense. Brandon Eicher, who is nationally certified, he is our strength and conditioning coordinator. He is the person that's going to make sure that our team is strong enough and fast enough to go out there for battle.
You know, the last 2 weeks we had on T-Mac last week, who great player, great Marion resident, and 2 weeks ago we had head coach Lorenzo Stiles on, Super Bowl champion. Interesting now to talk to the front office, because one of the questions I have, let's start out at the basement here, in the basement. Brandon, how did you come to be part of the Blue Racers organization?
Originally, I was actually, just most of the guys are, a football player looking for a place to play. Mr. Coleman reached out to me when he was still part of the Mayhem as the general manager and offered me that opportunity. Once I took the opportunity and made it here to Marion, I actually fell in love with the community and just stayed. So I stayed for the next year and became a part of the Blue Racers when they, in the inaugural season as a player, and decided that now it's time for me to move on and help these younger guys stay in good shape and keep their bodies healthy so that they can play later on in their careers.
Was it hard to make the decision to leave the field and go to the office?
It's a lot harder than you think. The honest truth is the original part was easy. The part where it becomes difficult is when you go back out to these workouts, you go back out to the practices, you go back out to the events, and you're in the game again. It's easy to sit on the couch and basically say, okay, I'm done. When you actually are around football, around the plays, around people running routes, around people just doing what you're so used to doing naturally, it makes you want to play immediately. So it's very hard to just sit back now.
Any chance of you ever donning the uniform again?
If something were to happen and everything else falls through, possibly.
We had a situation that happened last year. My offensive line coach, Melvin Tootin, played in the NFL for 6 years with Super Bowl runner-up Carolina Panthers, and we had an injury, and we were short at the offensive line. So he played his first game and came out of retirement against the Dayton team. We won at home, and he played in the championship game the following week against Cincinnati. So both of these gentlemen are still fit enough and able to play if needed.
I don't think Brandon's completely done yet. I get that feeling. I get the feeling, LC, that we might see him in a uniform again. Brandon, you said something very important to me there as a Marion resident. You fell in love with the city. Where did you come from, and what made you fall in love with the city?
Originally, I'm from North Carolina. One of the things that really attracted me to the city is it's seeming like what it was back home. It's a great community. It's not a huge city. It's not overpopulated. Everyone seems to know everyone here. I found that out over time. And everyone remembers your face, even if you don't remember theirs. They don't hold that against you. So it's just very friendly people.
Hometown feel. That's what we like to hear.
Absolutely.
Mark, how did you become a Blue Racer?
Well, started off with a phone call, actually. I called up Mr. LC over here, and it's like, Mr. Coleman, I'm really looking to, try and get back into football, because I thought I was done. Actually went to North Carolina the year before and played down in North Carolina, came back, and we were married, just bought a house in Delaware, Ohio, and called him up because I didn't even realize there was a team in Marion, Ohio, and was like, can I get a workout? Can I get a chance? Anything like that. And Mr. Coleman actually goes, okay, well, you know, I got about 2 minutes. I can't talk to you any longer than that. I don't talk to anybody longer than that if you're a new player. And I was like, okay. So I took it as a challenge, and we actually talked for literally about 45 minutes at that conversation. So he was like, you know, I definitely want to see you play and whatnot. And literally the rest is history. 2 years later, you know, we made it to the championship last year. It was a long year, at the least. I can definitely say that. But a lot came out of it. We had a successful season. Looking to be a lot more successful this year with being in a bigger league with 16 teams. Look forward to obviously the relationship with the Blue Racers and Marion, Ohio definitely continuing, and you know, being now the offensive coordinator from playing, it's not as hard for me as him because my wife is pregnant, we have a baby on the way, so for me to step back now and say I'm going to take part more in the mental aspect of the game, it's a lot more fun, truthfully. It's something that I've always dreamt about doing, and something that really helps me to escalate my game to the next level.
A lot of things going on with the Blue Racers coming up. One of those things is the mini camp. What are your thoughts on that, and what can people expect?
Mini camp is an exciting event. The best part about it, I would have to say, is we're the first team in the UIFL to even hold a mini camp. So they were last year was their inaugural season. This year, we're new to the league, and we're the first ones to hold the mini camp. So that just shows the type of determination and the dedication that we have for not only the league itself, but also for our team and for Marion, Ohio. Mm-hmm. So what we have planned right now is fireworks. Everything is fireworks. Everyone's attracted to fireworks.
That's good.
So with it being fireworks, we're hoping to get some fans out. We want to have people at Ralphie's. You know, we're really looking to progress in our fan progression. Okay, we want fans out at every single event that we hold. And we want to see them. We want to greet them. We want to interact with them. We want them to become part of our family. So that's what we're looking for in minicamp. Besides, obviously, you know, the X's and O's aspect of it.
Tell me about the players, the new recruits, the players that have come back. What's the team look like as a whole?
Honestly, it's the NFL.
Really?
No, not really.
No. You could have got away with it. You could have got away with it.
I was like, who did I sign?
No, we've signed some guys at this point that we're really excited about. You know, we're in a professional league, but we are not the NFL. We're not the CFL. We're not the Arena 1. We're right there, but we're not there yet. But the guys that we have signed, some of them have played at a higher level. Some of them played at the Division I level. Some of them have had shots in the NFL. So our goal is to get these guys to that next level, to get them in that progression. And I mean, for example, we had Brian Williams from last year. He moved up to the Pittsburgh Power, started a couple games for him, and he got signed as one of the first players this year.
That's right.
So those are the type of guys, and especially this year, that we've really acquired, and we're really looking forward to, I mean, honestly, minicamp, because that's where we're going to showcase the talent that we have.
It sounds great, and the team members that I've met here, T-Mac and of course Coach Stiles here 2 weeks ago, boy, it just seems like things are shaping up. What's your forecast for the season?
It's looking good.
Looking good.
Good sunny weather. No tornadoes,
okay.
No dark
Okay.
weather.
Now, do you mean in wins and losses or championship?
Oh yeah, I mean wins and losses. Wins and losses.
I'll let him handle that.
Feeling pretty good about it.
Okay.
I'll tell you that.
It was a good analogy either way. I thought it was fine.
Our goal, honestly, is as an offense, okay, is to win on certain downs. For example, if we win on all third downs, that means that we're going to be successful. Mm-hmm. If we're successful on third down, that equates out to points. Those points then equate out to wins. So we're doing things, we're putting ourselves into an area where we're trying to be successful, where our efficiency is getting more and more and more every day. So if we're able to come out on top like we're hoping, and we're able to achieve everything that we want to, we'll be successful no matter what we do.
Brandon, one thing I wanted to talk to you about, I heard there was something going on with the schools and fitness, something coming up?
Yeah. Currently, we're working on creating what's called the Blue Racer Challenge. What it is basically entailed to do is help kids be active. A lot of people have heard of the NFL 60, which encourages kids to be out and active for 60 minutes. With ours, we want to call it the Blue Racer Challenge because it gives the kids a sense of accomplishment when they've done something. You know, it doesn't matter what this guy says at school, or this girl says at school. When they come out, they're going to be around these professional athletes. They're going to be around people who are, in their eyes, bigger and more important people than the bully at school that's picking on them. So it's going to help these kids who might be struggling with obesity, depression, a lot of issues that happen with children, to be out in the community. I mean, they're out with, next Super Bowl, player with Mr. Coleman, Coach Stiles, and all these guys, they can go back to this person and say, you know what, it's okay that they say something about me. I'm a good person because Mr. Coleman says I'm a good person. So that's what we're going to do. And it also helps because there's been a lot of research done on the obesity rate in youth. It's going up over, it was 5% about a decade ago, 2 decades ago. It's now up between 17 and 33%. And it's just an epidemic that is taking over. It's causing type 2 diabetes, also high blood pressure, cholesterol, and all this is in children. There's a lot of things that we can help to solve if we just teach these kids about being active. There's a lot of research, as I've said, that I've researched about, and it's been done showing that if a child is just active for 60 minutes, a kindergartner, they did it on kindergartners, was active for 60 minutes, 5 days a week, the percentage of obese kindergartners went down from 9.6% to 5.3%. And that's just kindergartners. They've done the research on all age groups, and it shows huge decreases for them being active 1 day. So what we're looking to do is bring the kids into an environment that's safe, into an environment where they can learn not only about, teamwork, but also about health, nutrition, diet, things that they may not be getting at home. It's not on the top of their parents' time. Right now, times are hard. So the last thing a lot of people are worrying about is, does my kid have exact proper nutrition? Does my kid know the difference in what a pop does as to juice? Does my child know this? Would my child choose the right thing? So it helps us to be active and kind of take some of that off the parents. And maybe these kids will then go home and educate the parents.
Sounds like role models in every sense of the word. If somebody were to ask me what are the 2 major problems with kids these days, I'd say obesity and bullying. That's right at the top of the list. Elsie, I want you to give the website, because we haven't done that in this episode, and also let people know where they can get this apparel, which you see you have a shirt right there.
Absolutely. Our website is www.blueracersfootball.com. If you need ticket information or apparel information, please call 614-987-0199. River's Edge is our official apparel sponsor. You can come out and get cool hats, cool shirts. River's Edge is right here in Marion, Ohio. They will take care of all your needs for his apparel.
What does time look like on this episode? 9 minutes is good. Jack Benny's been poking me with this stick for the last 10 minutes. So I'm going to take a few minutes here, talk to Jack, and I'm going to come back to you. I want to talk about anything we haven't covered yet that you want to cover, but I also want to talk about Joe Paterno.
Okay.
Well, let's see what's been going on. I can't get away from that right now. Jack, what are you doing over here? You're poking me with this. Why do you have a violin?
Well, I started out to be a concert violinist, and then for some reason, when I would start to play, people would laugh. So I found out it was easier to become a comedian. But with the football fellas here, I just want to say that football is my favorite sport.
Really?
Yes. And it's not because I'm especially thrifty as people think, but I just love to hear the announcer say they got the quarterback.
No, listen, Jack. Let's be honest. Word on the street is you're cheap.
Well,
you're cheap.
I know that's true, but I really would rather talk about football because I love it.
Jack, cheap.
Yes,
cheap,
yes.
cheap.
Well,
people say you're cheap, not thrifty.
No, I'm frugal. Frugal is the word, yes. And originally you asked about the violin, and this is a Stradivarius violin.
Oh.
And they're very expensive.
Very expensive.
Now, the way you can tell that it's a genuine Stradivarius, when a fella makes a violin, he writes his name inside those little holes there. And if you look in this one, you see it says made by Antonio Stradivarius.
I see that.
Area code 795-430-9200.
So the answer is you're cheap.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, we got to. Can you play the violin, Jack?
Well, of course. And you fellas have a school, no, not a school, but you have a Blue Racer song?
We do, but I don't know the words.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I can write one for you.
Go right ahead.
This is my favorite theme song.
Half the audience just tuned out, Jack.
Now, wait a minute.
Woo, go on. That was, let's cheer you up. Lynn, really quick, this is a dead-on Jack Benny. I mean, my goodness, for people who remember Jack, what's special about doing Jack Benny?
Well, first of all, it's the timing, because when Chuck announces Jack Benny, my music plays, I step out from behind the curtain, and I do one of the famous Jack Benny poses. The house who remembers Jack Benny, they just go wild. And I can just stand there and do this, and they'll clap, clap, clap. And when I tell a joke, of course, I have the certain typical Jack Benny poses and responses. And it's just so much fun to hear the people laugh. And I sometimes myself think, what's so funny about this? But they're laughing like crazy.
Well, and that's a cadence. That's a cadence.
It's timing.
It's absolutely. And Lynn will be back tomorrow, and we'll get also joined by Red Skelton and Bob Hope again. So you don't want to tune out for that program. Back to the Blue Racers, though, because, boy, the world of football in general, college football, was rocked this past week by Joe Paterno getting into some serious trouble. And at the time this episode's being taped, he could be gone very soon. He probably, most likely, 90% is going to be gone at the end of the season. We had some trouble in Ohio with Jim Tressel, God knows. What do you make of what happened with Joe Paterno? For those of you who don't know, let me mini it up here really quick. Joe Paterno, longtime college football coach, an absolute classic. There was some sexual abuse that went on at his campus, and he knew about it years ago. He did report it to the higher-ups, but the higher-ups didn't do anything about it. And it's made light again, and now people are jumping on him. Even though he did go up the chain of command, he never followed up. He never contacted the authorities. He only contacted his boss, and the coach, not for nothing, did stay employed under him until recently. So I guess the question is, LC, should he go?
That's a tough question. I guess the focal point is, how are the kids doing? Any of those children that were affected through the sexual impropriety, no one's really talking about, what's going on with them. Are they of age? Are they still with the program? Are they part of Penn State? I'm from Pittsburgh, and when you're from Pittsburgh, you root for Pitt, Penn State, or West Virginia. So I really have a hard time with him actually going up the chain of command and doing his part, but it seems like the people, the vice president and anyone above him, got a chance to keep their job. So I really have a problem with how they're handling it. I just hope that Joe Paterno doesn't lose his job.
Interesting take. I hear it both ways. What do you think, Brandon?
It's honestly an issue that's kind of very touchy. I mean, he did, as you said, he did everything he was supposed to do. He went up the chain of command. A lot of people were saying the authorities should have been called. From what they purported, someone came to him. He didn't get the first-hand account on it. So by going up the chain of command, I feel he did legally what he was supposed to do. The big thing is it's all coming down on him. And it just seems like now with all the scandals and everything that's going on in college football, everyone wants to find something wrong with everything individuals do. So there's always going to be a small issue with someone.
Well, this is a current event show, so we'll talk current events here. My problem with this, in general, the reason I think it's coming down all on his back is because he's the most visible person involved in the scandal. That's same thing with Tressel weeks back, months ago. But the issue for me is, in this whole thing is, he did know, he admits to knowing, and he did go through the chain of command, and that's great. I think he should have done that. 8 years later, Coach Sandusky is still employed by him. At some point, wouldn't he have gone back to the main office and said, why aren't we following up on this? Why is this guy still with new kids who've come in over the years? I think that was his call. Like I said, that it happened, that's not on his head. Did he do it? No. Did he follow the chain of command? Yeah. 8 years, and the guy was still working under him. That sticks in my craw a little bit.
I mean, a little bit, a lot. If you thought enough to report it, and you're the most powerful face in Happy Valley, then when you put it that way, if he followed the chain of command, maybe he shouldn't be part of the program. But there's definitely a cover-up. Mark, how do you feel about that?
It's something that, when dealing with a program of that nature, We all know Penn State. I mean, everyone has heard of Penn State, whether it be academic,
Joe Pa.
sports, athletics, does not matter. You know, we're under a microscope in this business, and especially at that level. It doesn't matter who you are, whether it's, you know, from 2 years old through 85 years old. It doesn't matter. So, you know, it's one thing. Everything is going to be amplified at this point. You know, some things are not amplified. It is what it is at this point. That, you know, this has happened. It's now time to get over what has happened and fix and basically replenish the Penn State program to what it was at some point. So, you know, it's something that we can talk about it all day long and say what our opinions are, but in reality, it's Penn State are the only ones that can fix this.
Absolutely, and it should be their issue, but when you say replenish, are you talking about start anew, put this behind us without Coach Sandusky, or start anew without Joe Paterno?
I think it's something that, you know, I don't agree with the fact that Sandusky is still there. I really don't. And, you know, that's something that Joe Pa, if he would have nipped it in the bud at the time, then, you know, things would have been better. But, you know, you got to remember, Joe Pa's been there for, you know, close to 50 years, if not longer. And, I mean, it's something that he is Penn State's tradition to an extent. So, and the funny part about it is that's his best friend. So he's also protecting his best friend to an extent. And
well, if he did, then we're really getting into sticky territory. Final question on this, LC, because being a team owner, you have the best perspective on this. When a gentleman gets upwards of 80 years of age, even though he's a legend, even though he's had a heck of a career, does management at some point go and say, you know, maybe it's time to lay back? Maybe his seasons have not been that great in recent years.
There's a lot of variables that go into play, and everyone wants to look at the bottom line. I just hope that, you know, I just really hope that people look at the situation as it is, that children were hurt, there are people that are responsible for this hurt, and the people in charge need to seek out those people and not look for a fall guy.
I think you're right. I think it all turns on what the